Good morning, everyone. This video is not only for parents, students, teachers, it is also for my fellow colleagues who are working as principal. Over the period of last 15 years in this position of a principal, I thought that my job was to have all the answers, to solve all the problems that are brought to me. But I didn't realize that sometimes just keeping silent is the biggest solution the other person needs. We spend years learning how to talk, how to manage, how to lead, but nobody teaches us the heaviest part of the job, that is staying quiet. Morning. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, A Principal's Diary by Poonam Saxena. To get into the insights of a life of a principal, A Principal's Diary will show how the journey continues. Last week, a troubled student came into my office and he was ready to explode. He was angry at his teacher, how he was spoken rudely by the teacher, how the other children laughed at him. And 5 minutes of silence, I just heard him give out whatever feelings he had for everyone, even the parents. And after 5 minutes of silence, the anger disappeared and he melted into tears. And he said, "Yes, ma'am, I didn't need the advice. I am old enough to understand. Yes, I was at fault, not the teacher. He is only concerned about my performance. And I am so happy that you gave me time and you heard me. And that makes me feel that you believe what I wanted to say." So I think this itself is a big example that how a child needs just a ear. God has given us 2 ears, one mouth. So the 2 ears are for listening and one is for speaking. So we give more time to listening than to speaking. Listening isn't waiting for your turn to speak. It's giving someone else the space to find themselves. It is also allowing them to give them their perspective. The more we listen to others, we develop a bigger perspective, and when we are speaking, we are only delivering what we already know. But when we listen, my dear audience, I will say that we are getting all the perspective and allowing our brain to develop a new perspective which might be better off in the new situation. So next time when someone speaks to you today, don't fix it, just hear it. Okay? And example I would also like to give you, the most difficult meetings in this office isn't about budgets, about school safety, or it is about the defensive parents and burned out teachers. So once I'll tell you, a mother came in a defensive about his son's behavior. The teacher arrived exhausted about his disruptions, how the child was not completing the work and remaining absent and giving smiles when the teacher were asking and giving lame excuses. And the mother was complaining that the child is not listening to him and blaming on the teacher that they are trying to pull their child and insult them or create anxiety in the mind of the child. But both came armed with complaints, ready to battle in my office. Instead of refereeing kaun jeeta kaun hara, I asked one question: what is your biggest fear for this child? And the mother became very emotional. She understood that she is not being judged, and after a while both the teachers and the mother were on one side because they both wanted the best for the child. It was only that they needed to understand their perspectives, because nowadays children, they are very well aware of their rights and duties, not about duties but about their rights. They understand how they can manipulate their own apprehensions towards living the life they want by I'll say blackmailing the parents on emotional front and taking that step to bully the teacher in the school. So once again, when parents and teachers stop fighting for the right They start hearing what the student actually wants, and that's what breaks the ice, and that's what leads to what is reacting in the way which is good for the children. So sometimes leadership doesn't just mean turning off your, I'll say, your inner problem solver. Sometimes it is to ask for what solutions are possible or what the other person is seeking in the solution. Day before yesterday, a very veteran teacher walked into my office, very tired, very exhausted, and complaining about the colleagues, why the duties were being put and why so much of periods, teaching time, checking time, and some personal issues also. But I listened to her. I was about to offer her rechanging the schedule, asking for lesser duties, and asking her to celebrate, thinking of celebrating a mental health day in my school. But then all I did was just listen to her. For 15 minutes, she kept on talking, she kept on, I'll say, crying. And after 15 minutes of just listening and holding the hand, she said, "Ma'am, I am now ready to take on whatever the school has to offer me as a duty or as a, I'll say, a stakeholder for that." So when I talk about the brain, neuroscience shows that when we truly listen, our brain is not passive. It actively predicts, connects, interprets, and creates meaning. Listening strengthens neural connections and pathways related to empathy, memory, and critical thinking. So, listening is not waiting to speak, it is allowing another mind to influence our thoughts. And I will quote Carl Rogers, who believed that one of the greatest human needs is to feel deeply heard. So the relationships are very strong in terms of couples, in terms of mother and children, or the father or the grandfather and their grandchildren. It is just because the ones who lends the children the ear to listen. So when people feel listened to, their anxiety reduces, trust increases, and they become more open to learning and changes. So when someone really hears you without judging you, it is profoundly healing. So, and when we talk about in the classroom situation also, 45% of our communication time should be listening, but many people think when we talk more in the class, we will be able to empower, I'll say, overpower the learning happening. But that's not true. So great learners are great listeners because they collect information before forming their own opinions. And for the students, I would like to tell you that listening increases intelligence. Intelligence is not about knowing all the answers. It is about absorbing perspectives. Every person knows something different because they have gone through a different journey. For the same problem, everybody has a different solution. So when you listen to the different solutions, you will be able to provide not only one solution that you know, but you will be able to provide several solutions which everybody on the table knows about. So the more perspectives you hear, the wiser your decisions become. So I would also like to add to that, listening, of course, reduces conflicts. So when you are very angry at anybody and the other person is just shouting, so don't answer back. Listen. And after a while, the person will think that by shouting loudly or by raising the voice, the matter will not be sorted because the other person is listening to what I am saying. So that is the thing when that will pull, that the anger will be pulled back. And a simple trick to, I'll say, to ease out the anger situation or to avoid the conflicts. As Stephen Covey said, most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. And that's the biggest mistake we make. We need to reply, yes, but first listen to the real question, the real problem. We listen to the half the problem and start giving the answers or the solutions. Whereas the solution will come itself when the other person is talking out. Because when the other person is speaking, the brain is also active and they are also looking for solutions to that. And listening also fuels creativity, which we talk about as the 21st century skill. So teams that listen well innovate more because they combine diverse perspectives instead of defending individual opinions. So leaders also speak less than they listen. So many successful leaders spend more time asking questions than giving answers. Listening allows leaders to identify hidden problems, discover talent, and build trust. So, as Speaker Drucker said, the most important thing is communication, is hearing what isn't said. So I always say, when you are listening, read between the lines. So the anger, the hopelessness, the anxiety in the words which left unspoken. So when we listen with all our sense organs active, we are able to understand deeper what the other person is trying to say. And in education, listening is respect in action. सो जब गुरु से बातें सुनते हैं, बहुत सारे टीचर्स, बहुत सारे बच्चे सोचते हैं उन्हें सब पता होगा, पर आपको अपना पर्सपेक्टिव पता है. सो व्हाट द गोल ऑफ द स्कूल, व्हाट द गोल ऑफ द मिशन ऑफ द स्कूल और द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज, दैट द लीडर हैज़ टू टेल यू एंड गिव यू अ डायरेक्शन टू दैट. सो इन अ क्लासरूम वेयर टीचर्स listen to students, that makes a classroom where students begin listening to each other. So what we are role modeling becomes a part of their life. So we should not say, listen. So when the moment any child comes up with any answer, give all your ears to that. And that will develop the respect. Yes, it will take some more time for that topic to be completed, but then that topic is going to be effective because the child knows that listening is very important for updating their knowledge. So listening creates psychological safety, the foundation for curiosity and learning. So I would like to say, speaking gives us what we already know, listening gives us what we have yet to discover. So please, I'll say, subscribe to my channel, and this is what a Principal's Diary is saying about listening, a very important skill, and these are the power of listening. We don't just, I'll say, are able to help other people solve problems, but we are also able to enhance our intelligence and wisdom.